All right, so are you ready to dive into this conversational hypnosis thing?
Yeah, let's do it.
Because I gotta say, like, even just watching this training video that you provided, it's like a whole new way of thinking about hypnosis for me.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I've always been fascinated by it, but this is like next level stuff.
Yeah, this goes way beyond, just trying to get someone to cluck like a chicken on stage.
Exactly. Like, this is about using hypnosis for real therapeutic change.
Exactly.
And right from the start, the guy who made this video, he's like, this is a completely different kind of training.
Right off the bat.
So, like, what sets it apart? What makes this approach unique?
Well, I think the biggest thing is the emphasis on conversational hypnosis as therapy.
Hmm.
Like, it's not just about influencing someone you know. It's about actually guiding them towards genuine, lasting change.
So it's like using the power of hypnosis, but with a real focus on healing and growth.
Absolutely.
I like that. And the video even says this method solves like two major issues in traditional hypnotherapy.
Yeah, two big problems that a lot of hypnotherapists run into.
Okay, so what are they? Spill the beans.
Well, the first one is all about speed. The speed of results.
Okay.
We already know that hypnotherapy is generally faster than just regular talk therapy, right?
Yeah, sure.
But this training claims that conversational hypnosis can take it a step further.
Really? So even faster than what's already considered fast.
That's the claim. And it makes sense when you think about it. Like, remember that Einstein quote about the definition of insanity?
Oh, doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results.
Exactly. And sometimes traditional hypnotherapy can kind of get stuck in a loop,
Yeah, I see what you mean.
like using the same techniques, the same inductions, and it can slow things down.
So conversational hypnosis is more about like cutting to the chase, finding what works, and getting results quickly.
Precisely. It's about efficiency and targeted change.
I'm already intrigued.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so speed is one issue. What's the second big problem this method supposedly solves?
Certainty. The certainty of
Yes.
results.
Oh, okay, so making sure the changes actually stick.
Exactly. It's not enough to just feel good in the moment,
Yeah,
right?
totally. Like, how many times have I left in therapy session feeling amazing, and then like a week later I'm back to square one?
I think we've all been there.
Frustrating. So this training is all about making sure those positive shifts actually last.
That's the goal.
Oh.
And they emphasize testing and verifying the changes during and after sessions.
Okay, so it's like built-in accountability.
Exactly. Making sure the transformation is real and lasting.
I like that a lot. Now, you mentioned that conversational hypnosis is supposed to be faster than traditional methods. Why is that?
Well, because it kind of throws out the old rule book.
Oh, really? Like, what do you mean?
No more of those like drawn out hypnotic inductions or all the deepening techniques or metaphors.
So there are no swinging pocket watches?
Uh-huh. Nope, not in this approach. It's about recognizing that hypnosis is already a natural state that we experience all the time.
Wait, so you're saying we're like always in some kind of trance?
Not exactly. But we all experience hypnotic states naturally. You've probably felt it yourself, like when you get completely absorbed in a task and everything else just fades away.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Like when I'm writing or reading a good book.
Exactly. Or like highway hypnosis when you've driven miles and you don't even remember the scenery.
Oh, yeah, that's happened to me too. I get to my destination and I'm like, how did I even get here?
That's that natural hypnotic state kicking in.
Wow. So instead of trying to force someone into a trance, conversational hypnosis is more about working with those existing states.
Exactly. And by tapping into those states, it can be much more efficient and effective.
That's pretty mind-blowing. And I love how this training video really challenges you to like forget everything you think you know about what hypnosis should look like.
Yeah, it can be a big shift for people, especially if they're used to the traditional methods.
Totally. But it's also exciting, right?
Oh, absolutely. It's like a whole new frontier.
Yeah.
It can be a challenge to unlearn those old habits, but it's incredibly freeing to approach hypnosis in this fresh way.
Like breaking free from the dogma.
Exactly. It definitely is a different way of thinking about things.
For sure. So we've talked about like the why behind conversational hypnosis, like why it's supposed to be so effective.
Right.
Now let's get into the like what does a session actually look like?
Okay, so instead of relying on those like classic techniques, like the swinging pocket watch,
Right.
conversational hypnosis uses very specific language patterns and communication techniques
Okay.
to guide someone into that hypnotic state. And the thing is, they might not even realize it's happening.
Whoa, so it's like undercover hypnosis.
Uh-huh. In a way. Yeah. But it's important to remember the focus is always on ethical and therapeutic applications.
Yeah, for sure.
This isn't about manipulating someone for like personal gain or anything like that.
You don't know.
It's about helping them make real, lasting changes in their lives.
Okay, good. Good. So can you give us an example of what kind of language patterns we're talking about here?
Yeah, so one technique they talk about in the video is embedded commands.
Embedded commands. What's that?
It's basically like suggestions that are subtly woven into everyday conversation.
Hmm. Okay, so how does that actually work in a session?
Let's say you're working with someone who wants to quit smoking.
Okay, classic example.
Rather than directly saying, you will stop smoking.
Right, which can sound kind of harsh.
Yeah, exactly. You might say something like, imagine how good you'll feel when you're finally free from cigarettes.
Ah, I see. So you're planting the suggestion, but without being like forceful or direct.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And because it's delivered conversationally, it can bypass the conscious mind's resistance
Interesting.
and tap right into the subconscious.
Sneaky.
It's all about finesse. The video also mentions something called presuppositions.
Presuppositions. I've heard that word before, but I'm not sure I totally get it.
So presuppositions are basically like assumptions that are built into the way we use language.
Okay.
Think of them as shortcuts that take certain things for granted.
Can you give me an example, like how would a presupposition be used in this context?
Sure, so imagine a therapist saying, when you're feeling more relaxed.
Okay.
That phrase presupposes that the client will feel more relaxed.
Oh, I see. It's like creating an expectation that they will naturally reach that desired state.
Exactly. And by using these presuppositions strategically, the therapist can kind of guide the client towards a particular outcome.
But organically without forcing it.
Right. It's all about subtle influence.
This is blowing my mind. Like, I never realized how much power our words actually have.
It's true. And that's a key takeaway from this video, is that we all use hypnotic language to some degree.
Really? Even if we're not like trained hypnotherapists.
Yeah, whether we're aware of it or not.
So like how can we like as listeners apply this knowledge?
Well, I think the most important thing is to become more aware of the language we use.
Okay.
Both with ourselves and with others.
So you're not suggesting we all go around like hypnotizing people, are you?
Uh-huh. No, not at all. But by understanding how conversational hypnosis works,
Yeah.
we can communicate more effectively, build stronger connections with others,
Right.
and even influence outcomes in positive ways.
So it's less about like control and more about understanding the nuances of communication
Exactly.
and how it impacts us on a deeper level.
Right. And it's also about recognizing the power of our own thoughts and beliefs.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like by reframing our internal dialogue in a more empowering and positive light, we can create real change in our lives.
That's so true. It's like we're constantly hypnotizing ourselves in a way.
In a sense, yes.
Hmm.
And conversational hypnosis gives us the tools to do it consciously and intentionally.
It sounds like it's more than just a therapeutic technique.
Mhm.
It's like a way to understand how our minds work
Absolutely.
and then use that knowledge to create the lives we want.
That's a great way to put it. And the more we explore these techniques, the more potential we unlock for personal growth.
This deep dive is seriously eye-opening.
I know, right?
We've covered so much ground, like from the fundamental principles of conversational hypnosis
Yeah.
to its potential uses in therapy and everyday life.
And we've only scratched the surface.
I know, right? There's so much more to learn and discover in this field.
Definitely.
Okay, so before we wrap up, I have one more question for you.
Shoot.
The video really stressed throwing out the old rule book of hypnosis.
Yeah.
Like traditional techniques are out. So what does the future of hypnotherapy look like then?
That's a great question, and it's one that's generating a lot of discussion in the field.
Yeah.
There are a lot of exciting possibilities, but perhaps the most intriguing is a more personalized and integrated approach.
Okay, personalized and integrated. What does that mean in the context of conversational hypnosis?
So it means moving away from one-size-fits-all techniques
Right.
and tailoring therapy to each individual's needs, personality goals.
So less like a script and more like a dynamic, collaborative conversation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Imagine a future where hypnotherapy seamlessly blends with other approaches like mindfulness or positive psychology.
That would be amazing.
We're even seeing neuroscience being incorporated.
Bro, a truly holistic approach to well-being.
Absolutely. And technology is playing a key role in this evolution too.
Oh, yeah. How so?
Well, we're already seeing virtual reality and artificial intelligence being used in hypnotherapy.
AI-powered hypnosis. That sounds straight out of science fiction.
It might seem futuristic, but these technologies have the potential to make hypnotherapy more accessible and affordable for everyone.
I can see that.
Imagine having personalized sessions through your phone,
Yeah.
guided by AI that learns your unique responses and adapts in real time.
Whoa. So are we talking about a future where we all have like personal hypnotherapists in our pockets?
It's certainly a possibility,
Mm.
But of course, we need to consider the ethical implications of these technologies
For sure.
and make sure they're used responsibly.
Because even the most advanced tech is just a tool. It's the human connection and the therapeutic relationship that really make the difference.
Couldn't agree more. And that brings us right back to the core of conversational hypnosis,
Yeah.
connecting with people, understanding their needs, and empowering them to make positive changes.
I love that. This deep dive has been a complete game changer.
I'm glad to hear it.
We've gone from like debunking those old hypnosis myths
Uh-huh.
to envisioning a future where AI helps us tap into the power of our own minds.
It's been a fascinating exploration.
It really has, and I think the most important takeaway for me is that hypnosis, in all its forms, is a powerful tool for personal growth.
Absolutely.
And the more we understand about it, the more potential we unlock within ourselves.
Well said.
Yeah, it really makes you think, doesn't it?
Definitely.
Like, where does this field go from here?
Who knows, but it's going to be exciting to see.
For sure. So you know how we were talking about those moments where you get like totally absorbed in something? Like you said, like reading a good book or even just driving and you kind of zone out?
Right, highway hypnosis.
Exactly. Those are examples of how hypnosis naturally occurs, right?
Yeah, those everyday trances that we all experience.
And what's interesting is that this conversational hypnosis thing suggests that those moments aren't just like passive experiences.
Right. They're not just something that happens to us.
They can actually be opportunities for change.
Exactly. Like we can learn to harness those moments and use them to our advantage.
So instead of thinking of hypnosis as this separate formal thing, we can start to see it as something we're always engaging with on some level.
Exactly. Like
Ooh.
it's all around us. It's part of our everyday lives.
And if we can learn to like tap into those moments,
Yeah.
imagine the potential.
Seriously, it's like having this hidden superpower that we never even knew we had.
We could use it to change negative thinking patterns or build confidence or even break bad habits.
All of that and more.
Mm.
It's about understanding how our minds work and then working with them to create the changes we want to see.
Instead of fighting against ourselves.
Exactly.
That's so powerful. It's like we have this hidden resource within us all along.
It's true.
Yeah.
And conversational hypnosis gives us the keys to unlock it.
This whole deep dive has been incredible.
It really has.
We've explored so many fascinating aspects of conversational hypnosis.
From the basic principles to the future possibilities.
And thanks to this training video, I know I'm walking away with a whole new perspective.
I'm glad to hear that.
I feel like I've got a new set of tools to work with.
And remember, the exploration doesn't end here.
Right? Keep learning. Keep experimenting.
Exactly. There's always more to discover.
And for anyone listening, I encourage you to do the same. Like, keep learning and exploring this topic.
It's worth it.
You might be surprised at what you find out about yourself and the power of your own mind.
Definitely.
And hey, pay attention to those everyday moments of flow or deep focus.
Like we were talking about before.
Exactly. Those moments might just hold the key to unlocking some incredible personal growth and transformation.
Couldn't agree more.
Well, I think that's a great place to wrap things up.
Yeah, I think so too.
This has been an amazing deep dive into the world of conversational hypnosis.
It really has.
Thanks for joining me on this journey.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
And for everyone listening, until next time, keep diving deep.